The morning mist still clung to the iron gates of Gradsky Park as Elias and Jana began their survey. They weren't looking at the towering canopy today, but at the carpet of the city. Jana pointed to a dense patch of Hedera helix, the common English ivy, weaving its way around the base of an old stone fountain. "It's more than just ground cover, Elias," she remarked, noting its role in urban cooling. Elias adjusted his lens, capturing the intricate veins of the leaves that acted as the city's natural insulation. Further along the path, they met Sylvan, who was sketching the needles of a Taxus baccata, the European yew. Jana joined him, explaining how these slow-growing evergreens were the lungs of the park during the harsh Macedonian winters. Sylvan showed her his drawing, where he had meticulously detailed the bright red arils, the berry-like seeds of the tree. They discussed how the yew's resilience allowed it to thrive even in the face of urban pollution, a stoic witness to Skopje's transformation. Back at the research station, Zoran invited Elias to look through a high-powered microscope. On the slide was a sample from a Quercus robur, the English oak. "Look at the stomata," Zoran said, his voice buzzing with excitement. Elias saw the tiny pores on the leaf's surface, the gateways through which the tree breathed and regulated its temperature. They were documenting how these microscopic features changed in response to the city's heat, turning biological observations into the data points of the living map. In a quieter corner of the park, beneath the fragrant boughs of Atilia cordata, or small-leaved lime, Niven and Kalina were deep in conversation. Kalina was crushed a dried blossom between her fingers, releasing a honey-like scent. "The tea from these flowers has calmed the hearts of this city for centuries," she told Niven. Niven nodded, recording the location of the healthiest linden stands. They were merging Kalina's ancestral knowledge of medicinal flora with the Scriptorium's conservation goals. Elias and Sylvan ventured to the edges of the park where the urban landscape met the wild. They were tracking the spread of Ailanthus altissima, the tree of heaven, an invasive species that claimed any crack in the concrete. "It's a survivor," Sylvan noted, "but it crowds out the locals." Elias showed Sylvan how to distinguish its long, compound leaves from those of the native ash trees. Their task was to balance the city's need for green with the necessity of protecting indigenous biodiversity. High above the Gazibaba forest, Jana and Zoran were deploying a series of advanced sensors. Jana carefully attached a device to the bark of a Pinus nigra, the black pine, while Zoran synchronized it with his tablet. "This will track sap flow in real time," Zoran explained. By monitoring how the pines managed water during the dry summer months, they could predict which areas of the forest were most vulnerable to drought, adding a layer of temporal depth to their evolving map. Kalina led Jana to a hidden, rocky outcrop on the mountain's lower skirts, away from the main trails. There, tucked among the limestone, were the rare Ophrys orchids, their flowers mimicking the appearance of bees. "Few know they are here," Kalina whispered. Jana knelt in awe, realizing that the living map wasn't just about the giants of the forest, but also about these delicate, specialized residents that required very specific conditions to survive the changing climate. By the banks of the Vardar River, Elias and Niven examined the silver-backed leaves of a Salix alba, the white willow. The river's flow was essential for these trees, which in turn stabilized the banks and filtered the water. Niven pointed out how the roots were exposed by the shifting current. "The river and the trees are one system," Niven said. They discussed how to integrate the riparian corridor into the Scriptorium, ensuring the city's water veins remained shaded and cool. The weekend brought a community effort near the new eco-center. Sylvan and Jana coordinated a group of volunteers to plant Cercis siliquastrum, the Judas trees. Sylvan showed a group of local residents how to properly mulch the base of the young trees to retain moisture. Jana watched as the first saplings were settled into the earth. These trees would one day erupt in vibrant pink blossoms, serving as a visual reminder of the community's commitment to a greener, more resilient Skopje. As night fell, Elias and Niven met one last time in the central hub of the Scriptorium. The living map was projected onto a large screen, a pulsing web of green, gold, and blue. Every data point from Zoran's sensors and every observation from Kalina's walks was there. "We've done more than just map the city, Elias," Neven said, looking at the glowing display. "We've given it a voice." Elias looked at the map, knowing that this was a story that would continue to grow, leaf by leaf, for generations to come.